Welcome to Gigs and Guitars, and today's episode is all about the Laney IRT60, which is an amplifier that I use predominantly in the pub band or the club band that I play in called the Cooper Collective. Well, the Laney IRT60 has been out since 2012, and for me personally it's a really versatile amplifier, which I think has been mispromoted by various people that have been reviewing the amplifier as it being marketed towards the metal player's guitarist, if you will.
And Ironheart is a new range for 2012 of targeted high gain metal amplifiers.
And they're affordable.
So we're going to start off and probably only stay here for about a quarter of a second doing the clean sound.
There you go.
So there's a perfectly good clean sound for the 2-second intros that you guys do before you go into a death metal tune.
It's a really good guitar amplifier with 3 channels. You've got a clean channel, and you've got, say, a dirty channel, and you've got a lead channel. But on top of that, you've got a preamp function, which is a really good, versatile bit of equipment that is built into the amplifier, which means that you do not need to have on your footboard, for example, an Ibanez tube screamer just to give your guitar tone a little bit of front-end kick. It's already built into the amplifier before it reaches the gain stages. So I've loaded up the Laney website on my PC here, and it says forged deep in the black country, which it is, and it's obviously called the Ironheart, which, to be honest, it probably has been marketed by Laney towards the high gain player of the guitar spectrum. But for me personally, it can do everything in between, which is really, really good. Here we go. So this is my foot pedal, which I use by Laney. I'll just see if I can focus in on it. Let's get that on there. There we go. And now if you have a look at that, I've labelled this one up so I can see it clearly on the floor in front of me in a dimly lit pub. So you can obviously, I've got lead, I've got crunch, I've got reverb, and I've called the preamp stage Gain Plus, and that's purely so that I can see it at, I think it's actually going to be an age thing. I need my glasses on perhaps, but anyway, that for me works really, really well. It's really tough. It's just brilliant, and it normally sits on my pedal board, which is a really thing to have. But like I say, it works really, really well, and it lets me swap between the clean channel, the dirty channel, the lead channel, and on all those three channels, if you will, I can always add a bit of gain from the preamp function, which is what I've renamed as Gain Plus. I use the amplifier as backline, so it's not mic'd up in any way and sent out through a PA system in a local pub or club. With it being 60 watts, for me, it does the job by itself without any problems in mixing that sound. So when people come to watch the band that I play in, they get to hear the genuine valve tones of an amp which is nicely cranked. One of the features which is really, really good is the fact that it's got a direct input from the back of the amplifier, which I'm able to DI into a mixing desk, so that Christy, our singer, can actually hear the guitar work coming through her in-ear monitors. Other features, it's one of the really cool features which I do like about this amp is that it glows red. It almost resembles a wood-burning stove when it's on stage at night. But for people like me, I like bright lights and things like that, you know. And to be honest, it's a little bit unique. It glows red at the back of the stage for some reason. I really like it. I think it's really, really good. And you're probably rolling your eyes now thinking, well, it's more about the tone rather than looks. But yeah, it's one of those nice, cool features. But one thing that really attracted me to the IRT60 range, and don't forget you can get a 120 head as well if you want to, and less powered amplifiers, but I went for the 60 purely because it sits right in the middle of the range, and for pubs and clubs I think there's plenty of power in that amplifier to fill most venues. And to be honest, it doesn't have a master volume button, but what it does have is a wattage volume control, which is, to be honest, it is a master volume control, but it's actually defined as watts on the amp face. Now, that is generally set to around about 50%. So when I'm playing a gig, and it is a loud amplifier, so when I'm playing a gig, it's set at 50%, and that offers enough drive to fill a really large pub without it being mic'd up, and it's controllable and it's usable. But it also still has a huge amount of headroom left for delivering those key tones. So it's not being driven to 95%. It's being driven around about 50% of its time. So it's ticking over quite nicely. So I'm getting some really nice, rich, creamy tones coming out. I was looking around, and one thing that I really liked with the IRT60 head was it's got two massive carrying handles on it, which makes it incredibly easy to lift inside, in and out of the car and carrying to and from venues. And these handles on either side of the amp head and indeed the actual cab, they're massive and they're very robust and very, very well made. And I really like those features, particularly if you've been used to carrying a 2x12 combo around with a very small sort of strap. You almost have to bear hug the amp because the actual handles are really no good for anything really, to be fair, unless you're just shifting your amp just a couple of feet. But actually running across a car park in the rain with and you're smashing your knees to bits, you've probably banged a few doors on the way to the pub, taken out a few members of the public's kneecaps on the way to the stage, because they're always having a smoke outside the back door, aren't they, when you're trying to get your gear in. So for me personally, the two big massive handles on either side of the head and the cab are actually really, really, really good, and they're one of the best things I've seen on amplifiers to this day, and I think other manufacturers could take note of that as well. Right, here we go, guys. Okay, so we've just plugged in the Fender, and beneath my feet in front of me is the 4-channel foot switch provided by Laney that you get with the amplifier. So just reading from the left is the lead channel, followed by the rhythm clean channel, followed by the reverb, followed by the preamp function. So it's 4 foot switches, in a bomb-proof metal box, which generally sits on my pedal board, to be fair. So anyway, so here we go. So just to give you a little bit of an idea. So you can hear the really nice chimes, the glassy tone of the net pickup on the Stratocaster, which sounds really good. Now, so we've got a 3-channel amplifier, but we've also got a preamp gain stage as well before any input reaches the actual amplifier itself. So it's almost like having an overdrive pedal on your pedal board. So if I wanted to basically hit that with a little bit more overdrive, so you'll hear a bit of a volume increase as well. But yet, I've still got a really nice clean tone. So if I were to do a nice little bit of rhythm, and then kick into a little bit of a clean solo, I think you'll agree it sounds really, really good. So if I just switch off the preamp, and I'll just hit the rhythm channel, so we're going to go into the crunch section of it now. Now, we're still on the net pickup, but here it should hear it just a slightly more dirty, and that's how I've just got it set up on my amplifier at the minute. And the more I attack the strings, the more breakup it's got. But a higher volume when I'm playing in a pub, that will sound absolutely fantastic. You'll get the full dynamic range of tones coming out from the amplifier into whatever venue I'm playing. So that will sound absolutely immense. And again, I've got the preamp stage as well. So if I want to give that a little bit more dirt on top of some breaking up dirt, it's here. It sounds really, really cool. And this is the preamp on still with the crunch rhythm channel. And it just, yeah, it's true Fender tones, which is how I want it to hear when I'm playing live, to be fair. And equally when I'm at home. So that brings us nicely to the lead channel. So I'll just switch off the preamp. And again, this is mainly for soloing, of course. Now, the way it works on my 3-channel amplifier, if I've got the volume set on the rhythm channels, on the clean and the dirty channel set to say 5, I will have the lead channel set to say 7, so I can just cut through the mix of the band with a nice guitar tone. So there's no more overdrive or gain on it from the actual amplifier. So hopefully everybody will be able to hear the true tones of my guitar cutting through the mix. So this is the lead tone without any preamp at the minute. So I think it sounds great. So if we add the gain stage, which is the preamp, just switch that off, and you can see it's got some really, really good useful functions. So if you're switching between your rhythm channels, you can stick a little bit of gain on, whether you're on the clean channel or the dirty channel. You can stick a little bit more gain on if you're on the lead channel, and it's great. And I found that really useful if I'm swapping between, say for example, a lower powered guitar to a high powered pickup wound guitar, if you will. And it really sorts out the balance between the instruments should I want it to do that. So I've got the flexibility there beneath my feet. So if I didn't have the 60 watt valve head and I was just playing purely at home, yeah, I probably wouldn't use this amplifier, to be fair. It's great for gigging, but I think home use it's a little bit limited because of the volume level. So I would look at the IRT15H head, to be honest, or the combo. I'm assuming they do a combo. But for me personally, I'd look at a lower wattage head, certainly for home use. I'm not a fan of attenuators. I'd rather use a lower wattage head and just drive the valves on it rather than have a big head and try and depower it somewhere using an attenuator of some sort. Okay, so what's the going rate for a Laney IRT60 at the minute? So we'll have a quick look on here. Let's have a look at, I'm not going to mention the websites I'm looking at, but just to give you a little bit of an idea, we shall have a quick mooch through. So for example, I think they're really, really good value for money. Now the page is just opening up at the minute. So you're looking at a 60 watt Ironheart head, which at the minute is around about £516, which I think is really, really, really good value for money considering what you're getting. You're getting the 3 channels, you're getting a preamp boost, you're getting a really solid foot switch, is what I mentioned just earlier. You're getting terrific build quality. Yeah, it's just brilliant. Check it out. You know, if you're looking at, say, the equivalent of, say, Orange or something like that, you know, if it's going to be all valve, you're going to be looking at far more expensive kind of stuff. So would I recommend this amplifier to anybody out there? I would say, yeah, give it a go. Really versatile. I'm really pleased with mine. So there you go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Gigs and Guitars, and there's always time in the day for a brew. Cracking.